What's up, everyone? Matt back for another real review, and today we are here to talk about everyone's 80s/90s favorite Sega character, and that is none other than Sonic the Hedgehog. That's right. Today is the review for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Uh, Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Sonic the Hedgehog was never my thing growing up. I understand it's this beloved just franchise and IP. I don't dislike any of the movies. I can say that, and that goes for this one. This is a fairly positive review coming. Um, so I never really have had that connection to the Sonic character. I remember watching the old Jaleel White cartoon back in the '90s when I was a little kid, but it's never something that I was like, "Oh, I'm gravitating towards Sonic. Got to watch it." This, that, and the other. And then when we got the whole Sonic the Hedgehog first movie trailer where we had the ugly Sonic, yeah, that scared the shit out of me. So I was fairly worried about that film going into it, but it ended up being a pleasant surprise and one of the last films I saw in theaters before the world ended in 2020. With that being said, we're here to talk about Sonic 2, and listen, it's not Sonic 2, Sonic 3. And listen, Sonic 3 is another fun time at the theaters with family. It's This series is not an adult film series. This is a family film series. I'm not even going to call it a kid film series because this is one of those films that has a lot for adults and children. And with that being said, the children are going to love the Sonic Knuckles and Tails dynamic. It's fun. It's hilarious. Idris Elba, as my opinion of all those characters, steals the show with his one-liners that are perfectly timed, and his Knuckles fish out of water element to the character is just something that is easy to latch onto. And then you have newcomer Shadow, who's voiced by Keanu Reeves, who is just carrying the pain of the world on his shoulders and has this dark, tortured past. And it's something that I know early rumors suggested Hayden Christensen was going to be Shadow, and then we got Keanu. Let's not sugarcoat it. Keanu and Hayden are on the same level as actor. Keanu arguably has a bigger name attached to him, especially after the John Wick films. So it's totally understandable that they went with Keanu Reeves, and he does a fantastic job in this film. He brings this darkness to Shadow and this brooding that only Keanu could bring. And he has that monotone voice, and it kicks up he kicks up the emotion we needed, and that's really cool. And when you're doing a character like Shadow, important. So I was very happy with this, and I will also say I was fairly happy that the thing this film series gets right that I thought the Knuckles show got wrong, but that's a different story. Um, is that outside of Robotnik and the first film, it doesn't focus too much on the humans, and I think that's the right way to do this. I know leading into this series starting, I was very afraid we were going to end up with like the Smurfs series where it was they were in the cartoon world and then drug into the real world, and that was not where we needed it to go. And it didn't. It was no, they're just aliens, and this is just how they look, and so hey, I rocked with it. It makes sense, and I think the fact that they are able to successfully leave the humans in the background without making you feel like, oh, where are they at, is what the Sonic films do right. And that's something that films say, like the MonsterVerse from Legendary right now with Godzilla and Kong, does not do right. So overall, very just pleasantly surprised and happy that they keep that going. Here's the thing: my biggest issues with this. There are points where it drags. It just happens. Some of the dialogue, and like I said, this is a family film. This Some of the jokes just fall flat for me. There's still a lot of fun and silliness to be had, but overall, some of the more childish jokes fall flat. But between what Idris Elba brings and some of the stuff Ben Schwartz brings at Sonic, they find a nice balance for those characters. And then you have Jim Carrey, who arguably steals the entire damn show as the double Dr. Robotniks, for lack of a better term, where he's playing the Dr. Robotnik we've come to know in this series and that Robotnik's grandfather. So you get Robotnik squared, and Jim Carrey is doing double duty, and he does such a fantastic job. And what makes it even better is he's playing off against himself, which is what I found to be so fun and hilarious and brought such a different dimension to this just character overall. So if I'm going to film this or give this film a rating, I know this has been a fairly positive review. Ultimately, it boils down to this isn't my cup of tea, but it's still a fun time at the theaters. 3.5 out of 5. It could realistically, you could call it a 3.75, maybe leaning 4, but ultimately, this isn't my kind of story, but I still have fun with them, and that's what makes these films so successful. So I'm glad if you are excited for this film, and if you're going to go see it this weekend when it comes out, you should. It's a fun time. I'm never going to tell someone not to explore films in the theaters, especially if it's from an IP or franchise you love. However, speaking of that, for IP and franchises that we love, tomorrow, be sure to tune back in here sometime between 9:15 and 9:30 a.m. for our Superman trailer reaction. That is right. DC Studios Superman, the first trailer, is dropping tomorrow. I'm so excited. I am ready to go. I'm ready to look up and see that this man can fly. So be sure to come back and check that out. And we also dropped 2 other reviews from the past couple days. Yesterday, we dropped a Mufasa review for Mufasa the Lion King, so be sure to go check that out. And on Monday, we dropped a review with Jeff for A24's The Brutalist, the 3.5-hour epic from A24. Just housekeeping stuff. As always, be sure to check out our sister channel, What Real Gaming, and everything that we're doing over there. Any Twitch stream that we do goes and lives on there, and you should go follow us on Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/whatreal, like in this top corner here. And also this Friday, a new episode of our Superman podcast, Views from Metropolis, drops. It'll be covering Superman 2, the Donner Cut, so you can be sure to check that out. Special guest Taylor Cleek as we dive into this film. I had so much fun talking with Taylor. It was nice to get my man on a podcast again. And I'm so excited and ready to go, ready for you guys to see that. And but with that, folks, signing off, I am Matt. This was another Real Review, and we'll see you next time.